Okay. We'll call to order tonight's Committee of the Whole for the Auburn City Council meeting for February the 6th, 2024. The City Council should have the minutes from the Committee of the Whole from our January 16th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, is there a move to approve?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes from the January 16th Committee of the Whole have been approved. Board of Zoning Adjustment, Mayor Pro Tem Witten.
Yes, sir. We have one supernumerary position. Unexpired term begins immediately and ends January 2026, to replace incumbent Will Faulkner, who was elevated to a full position on the BCA. I would like to nominate Charles Berry Jr.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second for Charles Berry Jr. Any comments? Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Charles Berry Jr., please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries, and we'll confirm that later on in the agenda. Questions on tonight's agenda for the city manager? Anybody on the council have a question for Ms. Crouch? Okay, Ms. Crouch, anything for us?
We do not have anything right now.
Okay, is there a move to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we are about to adjourn, but to let everybody know, we'll get started at 6 o'clock, okay? And you are free to visit in the meantime. We'll call to order tonight's Auburn City Council meeting for February the 6th, 2024. We welcome everybody that is here with us in person tonight. We look forward to meeting our scout troop that has joined us. We also are thankful for those who are tuning in over WANI as well as watching through our streaming services. All of you are welcome. We're glad to have you with us tonight. The roll call, Lindsay?
Adams.
Here.
Koblenz.
Here.
Dawson.
Here.
Griswold.
Here.
Mormon.
Here.
Parsons.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Witten.
Here.
Anders.
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. This is the first meeting of the month, and so this is our time where we recognize our outstanding employees here at the City of Auburn, and we also have another presentation tonight. We're proud to introduce you to our February City of Auburn Employee of the Month, and I have a memorandum here from Mike Harris, Assistant Chief of Police. Sergeant Charles Bud Neesmith has been a member of the Auburn Police Department since 2004, coming to the City of Auburn through the merger of the Auburn Police Department and Auburn University's Police Department. Sergeant Neesmith has been involved with the School Resource Officer Program since 2014. With that assignment, he has been responsible for the planning and execution of the Auburn Police Department's Drug Abuse Resistance Education, or DARE, summer camp for many years. The 2023 Summer DARE Camp enjoyed one of the largest groups of Auburn's young citizens in recent years. Because of the level of community outreach and coordination conducted by Sergeant Neesmith and other school resource officers, the 2023 camp was a tremendous success. Sergeant Neesmith has exemplified what APD command staff terms as ownership of the DARE camp. He dedicated countless hours to ensure all who attended and participated had a great time. The success of the camp also exemplifies an investment in the community that will benefit the city for years to come. For his tireless dedication to the youngest citizens of Auburn, I highly recommend Sergeant Neesmith for recognition as the Employee of the Month. Thank you, Sergeant. Appreciate everything you did, man. Appreciate it. We're proud today to be at Auburn High School to celebrate our girls cross-country team, who once again in 2023 was the state champions for the sixth time in 7 years. And I have a proclamation here that I'll read on behalf of the Auburn City Council. Whereas the Auburn City Council is pleased to honor the Auburn City Schools and its faculty and its staff and its students for their excellent achievements and contributions both inside and outside of the classroom. And whereas the 2023 Auburn High School girls cross-country team was crowned the 2023 Class 7A state champions at the Oakville Indian Mounds Park on November 11th of 2023. And whereas with a margin of 60 points ahead of the competition, the team secured their sixth state title in the last 7 years. And whereas the team took 3 of the top 4 individual spots in 7A, with Sarah Toll winning an individual state title. So whereas the Auburn High School varsity girls cross-country team consists of team members Adeline Clark, Linnea Cox, Audrey Erath, Valerie Escalera, Evie McGowan, Abby Murner, Mary Kinsley Nimmo, Riley Plexico, Mila Reagan, Natalie Schoonover, Stella Stewart, Sarah Toll, and Jenna Beth Wade. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Auburn, Alabama, that the council hereby recognizes and formally congratulates the coaches and players from the 2023 Auburn High School girls cross-country team for its outstanding achievements and exemplary efforts in representing Auburn City Schools and the City of Auburn. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this meeting and presented to head coach Olivia Bowen and the team, adopted and approved by the City Council of the City of Auburn, Alabama, this 6th day of February 2024. Congratulations, ladies. Again, congratulations to Bud Neesmith as being the Employee of the Month, and we'll continue to be proud of all of our employees that we recognize tonight with service awards. And congratulations again to the Auburn High Girls Cross Country Team. What a dominant program they have representing our community. During the Committee of the Whole, the City Council appointed Charles Berry Jr. to fill an unexpired term as a supernumerary on the Board of Zoning Adjustment, and we appreciate Mr. Berry's willingness to serve our community through that manner. At this time, I'd like to recognize our scouts. We have a large crowd tonight, and it's good to see you again. This used to happen quite often at our City Council meetings. So I know this might sound a little laborious to all of you, but I'm going to ask each of you to stand up and introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on and what troop you're with, okay? One by one. All of your parents and families are watching, I promise, okay? So I'll let y'all decide how y'all want to start. Yes, sir.
Brett Bauman, I was here 2 weeks ago, and I'm working on citizenship in the community. I'm with Troop 12.
Good.
Theodore Goldsmith, I'm with Troop 12 and I'm working on community and citizenship.
Easton Stoltz, I'm from Troop 12, and I'm working on citizenship in the community. Tyler Stubler, I'm with Troop 12, and I'm working on citizenship in the community. I'm Cole Fowlers, Troop 12, working on citizenship in the community. I'm Will Wilder, I'm from Troop 12, and I'm working on citizenship in the community. Zachary Hope, citizenship in the community, Troop 12.
Jesse Hartman, Troop 12, working on citizenship in the community. I'm Edward Schultz, I'm working on communication with Troop 12. I'm Cooper Beasley, I'm with Troop 12, working on citizenship in the community. Mark Stein, for Troop 12, working on citizenship in the community.
I'm Brody Holmes, I'm in Troop 12, I'm working on citizenship.
I'm Nicholas King, Troop 12, working on citizenship in the community. I'm Nolan Carlson, I'm from Troop 12, and working on citizenship in the community.
I'm Chief Packer, and I'm with Troop 12, so working on citizenship in the community.
Is that it?
I'm Taylor, I'm from Troop 12, and I'm here to work on citizenship in the community. I'm Luke Ford, I'm in Troop 12, and I'm working on citizenship in the community.
Okay, well, we're proud to have you here. Thank you for your investment in our community. Thank you for wanting to learn about our community. I appreciate all the volunteers that are with you, that are helping you along. Thank you for giving your time and sacrificing for these young people. It'll certainly be worth it, worth your time and efforts. But you're welcome to be here anytime. You don't have to wear your uniform, but if you want to, you can come back and do that too. But we're glad to have you here tonight. Under Mayor's comments tonight, I want to say congratulations and thank you again to everybody that participated in the polar plunge. I was the only person sitting up here that jumped in the water. I've learned to do that well over the last couple of years. I did it very quickly. I want to thank Councilman Parsons and Councilman Griswold for being there to cheer me on. Councilman Griswold was nice enough to give me something warm to drink after it was over with. But what a successful event. I believe, Ms. Crouch, there was over $10,000 raised and 170 participants. That's awesome. It was 25 degrees that day when we jumped in the water. So congratulations to everybody who had a piece of participating in that. I did want to ask, this was our first year of having our daddy-daughter date night in a new facility, and I was interested in how it went over the weekend.
Yes, sir. We had over 1,000 participants over the 2 nights. The new soccer complex gymnasium was a great place to have it. face painting, we had a photo booth, we had flowers out there for people who came through, and it was just a great experience for all the kids. And thank you so much for that gymnasium. It was a much better place to have it. A lot of great times to be had.
Good, good.
We're very happy in Ward 8 we could host that out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I believe for all of us, as we contemplated that facility out there, we thought that this would be an event that could occur, and we're proud that it happened this weekend. That was great. I was invited to go welcome the probate judges. All the state of Alabama probate judges are currently in Opelika at the Marriott having a conference this week, and you might see a few of those people wandering around tomorrow. And Miss Hovey is here. I want to tell her congratulations on an outstanding Chamber of Commerce annual meeting you hosted last week, and some worthy citizens who were recognized for excellent service. And it was a proud moment for our community to be there, be at the Gooch Center, recognizing all of those individuals. Real quick, I want to remind everybody this year we've got an election coming up. Primaries are the 1st of May. There could be runoffs in April and then general elections in November. For a lot of you, you're going to change where you're used to voting. And you should have been sent a postcard recently about where your voting location will be. If you have not received that postcard, or you might have not recognized that postcard came in your snail mail, I encourage you to find out where you might be voting. There's a great chance you could be moving somewhere. There are 4 churches that will be hosting polling locations this year, and this new facility that we've been talking about at our soccer complex will also be hosting voting this year. So please get prepared for that. It'll be here in a little less than a month, and know where you're going to be voting on March the 5th, and I hope everybody in our community will take time to go and vote. We also had a groundbreaking last week for the new mental health center at East Alabama Health. What an unbelievable resource this is going to be for our community as the beds have shrunk, but the need has grown. And I appreciate East Alabama's willingness and commitment to those who need the support with mental health. And the building has started, and hopefully in the next year, 18 months, will be complete, and we can start helping more and more people in our community. That's all I had tonight. Anybody else on the City Council have an announcement that they'd like to make?
I do, Mayor, if I may.
Please go ahead.
I would like to invite everybody to come to downtown Auburn this Saturday, the 10th at 1 o'clock for the 7th Annual Crew to Tigress Mardi Gras Parade. It has grown over the years, and we are very grateful to the community and to the city for your support. We have over 40 floats and entries this year, and so we just invite everybody to come down to a family-friendly Mardi Gras Parade this Saturday at 1 p.m.
Good. Thank you. Anyone else?
Just
Please,
a
Mr. Moore.
quick word to the wise. A week from tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So whether you get a T-shirt from Stamps or a book from Auburn Oil or artwork from J&M or a diamond from Wares, I'd pick something up. Be ready. So.
Thank you there, Mr. Mormon. All right. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move ahead with Auburn University Communications.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Good afternoon.
SGA elections concluded Friday night with call-outs at Cater Hall. Jack Hilton was elected as SGA president, Kara Herring as vice president, and Will Goodner as treasurer. All 3 had previously served in either the SGA Senate or Cabinet and ran on platforms of widening the connections between the Auburn Student Government Association and the student body as a whole. Grace Krim was elected for Miss Auburn, and she ran on a platform of creating more mentorship opportunities for students in both their organizations as well as in their individual majors. Toward the end of January, the Auburn Student Lobby Board was lucky enough to host some really special guests for its 2024 Learning to Lobby Day event. This included Alabama State Representatives Faulkner, Gray, and Lovern, as well as Anthony Latham, who is the director of the Alabama Legislative Services Agency, and Ted Haas, who serves as the Vice President of Governmental Affairs for Blue Cross and Blue Shield Alabama. As a member of the lobby board, it was a really great time having them come and speak to us, especially with all the new pressing issues, and especially just from some state perspective. I think a lot of times, like, we just kind of focus on national politics, and it's really great to hear one-on-one from state representatives about a lot of the issues facing our state in the future. In the coming weeks, the lobby board will attend the Higher Education Day at the state capitol in Montgomery, so that's something we're really looking forward to. And finally, the Auburn University Board of Trustees approved a new video board for the north end zone in a meeting last week. It will be designed to intentionally, with the future seating expansion in mind in the north end zone. So that's something we have to look forward to as Auburn students. But that's all for me this week. War Eagle.
War Eagle. Two of those four new SGA officers that were mentioned are local children. Kara Herring is from Auburn, and her mother's our superintendent, and she's will be the vice president, and Will Goodner is also from Auburn, and so we look forward to working with them in the future.
Mayor, if I may, we might be having some technical difficulties with the podium, so Greg is going to get very embarrassed once again while we all stare at him, but just give him a second to make sure that everybody online can hear what's going on in here. We want to make sure it's working properly before we proceed with the agenda. Nothing like having newer council chambers, but technology comes with its pluses and minuses. There we go.
Sounds like he broke it.
Thank you, Greg. Very good. Greg loves when we give him applause, so it's his favorite thing.
Thank you, Greg. All right, we'll continue to move on. At this time, we'll ask if you'd like to comment on anything on our agenda tonight. This is your opportunity of citizens' communications on agenda items. This is an unusual agenda where we did not have a public hearing attached to one or two or a couple of our agenda items. So if you'd like to talk to the city council about anything on tonight's agenda, now would be the time to do that. We'd ask that you come forward and share your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak to the city council. Anyone? Yes, sir.
I'm Jim Young, 1254 Weatherford Street, Grove Hill, Auburn, Alabama. Mayor Andrews, distinguished members of the council, thank y'all a lot for allowing me to come and address this council. I come before you as an Auburn resident and as a pickleball player. What has pickleball meant to me, especially through Auburn, Alabama? In 2006, I started coming to Auburn because my daughter started here as an undergraduate. I started going to church, and I didn't have any friends, but somebody at the Parks and Rec introduced me to Miss Jeanette Parker, and we played pickleball every day when I'd come in town. And we started with 5 or 6 people, and we'd play in the mornings, and then this was at Indian Pines. And then after that was over with, we would wait for people to get off from work, and we'd go play again. So we grew from 6 at Indian Pines and moved over to Sanford Courts, where they taped some lines down, and we played there for a while, and then they made some more courts down below for us. Pickleball has grown and is still growing, and it's the fastest growing sport in the United States. I moved here in 2016, and upon my arrival, I had a group of established friends. I am a USA Pickleball Ambassador for Lee County, and I'm also the USA Pickleball Assistant Regional Director for the Atlantic South in tournaments. And I'm fortunate to live here and fortunate to have Auburn making hopefully some decisions. My local credentials are that I run and direct the pickleball tournaments for our neighboring city. I also run them throughout the Southeast. I'm tournament director for the Alabama Senior Olympics that's playing pickleball here in April. What can pickleball do for Auburn? It can provide a lot of fun for our residents. It can also provide to be a source of economic impact for the citizens, and it's a drawing card for people to come to here. The economic impact, I have several years of figures provided to me from our tournaments through AO Tourism, and last year it was estimated that we had economic impact of $1.3 million to the surrounding community. Conservative count last year in Opelika, sorry I mentioned it, but 50,000 players this year. Supplied figures for here, we've had over 9,000 players. So pickleball is a sport for all ages. It provides a range of opportunities, and it gives the community a sense of investment in the community. I've worked with other communities and governments and groups to help promote pickleball and to help those groups get their city fathers to invest. For years, I've tried to get pickleball in in Auburn, and this proposed project is a great step forward for Auburn and the entire area. And this will be a great investment for the community now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young. Who would be next? Anyone like to address City Council about an item on tonight's agenda? Okay, we'll move ahead with City Manager's communications.
Well, Mayor, under City Manager's communications, we have none. So we'll move to our first item of business, which is the consent agenda. Does any council member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and deal with that item individually?
Yes, I would. 8D and 8E.
8D and 8E.
D, 8E. Anyone else? Would like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay.
All right, item 8D authorizes revisions and updates to the engineering, design, and construction manual.
Move for approval. Second.
Tonight, I'd like to ask the City Council to please table this until the next meeting. I have asked the City Council to do this over the last couple of years just to allow our community that makes their living and spends their time in these types of industries to preview and look over these manual updates. I know that the offer has already been extended, but this is one last opportunity for individuals in our community to come and evaluate these changes and speak to our staff about that.
So you'd be moving to postpone to February 20th. if
Please,
that's what you're-
thank you.
Yeah. You need a second.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions on that? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and the motion carries.
Item 8E authorizes revisions and updates to the Water Resource Management Design and Construction Manual.
Move for approval. Second.
I'd like to make a motion for the City Council to move this, postpone this decision, as we did earlier, to February the 20th, for the reasons I just established.
Second.
Motion, second. Any comments or questions on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. All right. Is there a motion to approve the balance of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the consent agenda is carried forth. Ordinances.
Item 9A consents to a lease agreement between the Auburn Waterworks Board and CNC Masonry for temporary construction laydown and a trailer lot next door to the Bailey Alexander Complex. Unanimous consent is necessary.
I'll introduce the ordinance and ask for unanimous consent.
Second. Have a motion is second. Does anyone on the council have a problem moving forward with a vote on this evening? Seeing and hearing none, any comments or questions? Okay, Lindsay with a roll call.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Mormon,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Koblenz,
Yes, ma'am.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Anders.
Yes,
Ready for resolutions?
please.
Item 10A authorizes a tax abatement for Sohan NTN Driveshaft USA Corporation for the purchase of new manufacturing machinery to be located at 246 T Court in the Auburn Industrial Park. The company anticipates hiring 9 new employees over the next 2 years and investing approximately $4.33 million.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Congratulations to our industrial development team for this expansion in our community. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Item 10B authorizes a change order in the amount of $1,960,594 with Bailey Harris Construction Incorporated for the Lake Wilmore Community Center Park Project to add 6 additional pickleball courts, bringing the total to 12 for Phase 1, to also include a court cover, lighting, and fencing, as well as grading for 6 additional pickleball courts to be constructed as part of Phase 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions from the dais? Yes, sir.
I just have a question. How many courts are required to be feasible for us to host a tournament?
Mr. Kelly, do you have,
So what we've been told to run tournaments, 12 is the minimum that you'd like to have run a tournament. 18 would be optimal to allow more players to get on and get tournaments through quicker, so that's why we come up with the number of 18.
let's say adjacent jurisdiction has 24?
Yes, 24 would be.
So the goal at Wilmore with the second set of course that goes with the field project, that's why one of the reasons why we moved this up. We had 6 uncovered, just lit courts in the original bid, and we've opted for tournament purposes and to provide a covered opportunity for our residents. One of the things is we have, most of our residents are not playing in Auburn. And we also don't have the ability to run any tournaments. There is also an adjacent private club that has some outdoor courts available, and we can also partner with them to run bigger tournaments if they so desire. We've done that in tennis before. They've partnered with us, so we looked at it this way. So the next set of pickleball courts with Phase 2, which comes with the multipurpose fields, would also be covered. But we couldn't put 6 courts, you'll see in the drawing, in your packets. We could put 12 courts together. We couldn't get 18 in a row. It's adjacent to, it's a grouping of 12 and then a separate grouping of 6, just by the way the site lays out and the amount of site work that had to be done.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
This
Mr. Moore.
does give us the opportunity to have tournaments, though. We have
Absolutely,
enough.
that's one of the goals. We look at, with all of our recreation projects, every field that we build, we look at, first, recreation is our top priority to serve our citizens, but there is a revenue model that comes with tournaments and the economic impact thereof. So as you heard earlier, there's a great economic impact to them, and basically 12 courts can be worth as much as $750,000 for a large tournament, which would be $62,500 per court per tournament for economic impact. Now, some of that leaks out of the economy. I get all that, but in 2 to 3 years, we'll be paid back by tournaments alone for the installation of these courts, let alone all the recreational play that we get, which I expect, as you see, the Sanford Avenue courts are pretty much open from sun up to 9:30 p.m. I expect that level of play out at Lake Wilmore, but more play because it'll be covered and a little more comfortable. We have fences and other things, better situation.
Which is a nice bonus. I mean, it's certainly a good thing to provide for the citizens, but the fact that they might even pay for themselves is a great bonus. And,
Absolutely, and as a follow-on, just, we're not decided, but there is in the master plan, room to put a few at the tennis complex that we have today, so that we could add some there where we already have a staff, and that'll be adjacent to the Richland Park plans that you're likely to see as we roll into the next budget. You're likely to see more about that this summer, what we plan to do there. And I anticipate that we would have pickleball on both sides of town, or multiple sides of town, to serve our residents.
18, the maximum number of courts we can have on this site.
Well, as you're aware, the Lake Wilmore site is massive, and we were only disturbing about 30 or so acres for parts of what we're doing. So in this vicinity, it is possible, Mr. Williams, to expand further, but right now 18 is the plan.
That's correct. 18 is optimal to get it adjacent to the facility that's going to be open to allow staffing and restrooms, et cetera. There is the possibility that as a separate pod within that property, we could in the future have some and still host larger events within that property.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we will, like many things, connectivity and other things to Lake Wilmore, as it opens and evolves, I think we will make changes or additions or what have you as you see fit and as we're hearing from the citizens along the way. It's a phenomenal project. I know some of you have been past it to check on it. It's a beautiful project. There's updated photos a lot of times on our website under our auburnalabama.org/CIP, and you can see it's really taking shape. This will be the first facility with an indoor walking trail that I think, or walking path, that we'll see a ton of usage on. And I expect, I've talked with Mr. Kelly about this, that at 5 a.m. I expect that club to actually be quite busy.
Anyone else? Continue to remain very excited about Lake Wilmore. It's going to be such an asset to our community. But these pickleball courts, as Mr. Young was saying, are going to be just a great asset to our community, and for people who have been playing but playing other places, they can play in Auburn. And I'm very proud that we're potentially looking at this here tonight. So anyway, all right. Anything further? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Mayor, those are all the items of business we have for you this evening.
Sure. Before we move forward, the next part of our agenda is Citizens Open Forum, where citizens can come and speak to the city council about anything that might be on their mind. I know we have a lot of guests here tonight. Before we get started with that part of our agenda, I want to give our guests an opportunity. If they want to stay, you are certainly welcome to stay and hear the comments from our citizens. But if this is a time you'd like to leave before we get started with that part of our meeting, this would be a time for you to go ahead and exit. We'll make time for that. Thank all y'all for being here.
Your principal.
All right, thank you.
They know it. They know.
I know, but just. No.
Well played.
Okay. Okay, this is an opportunity for our citizens to communicate to the city council about anything that is on your mind. We ask that you come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak to the city council. We ask that your comments be addressed to the city council and refrain from naming any staff member personally. Yes, ma'am.
Hi there. My name is Becky Retzloff. I live at 350 Gardner Drive. I'm the one who's been emailing you about the sidewalk in the high school and university. I appreciate you calling me back, Mayor, and Mr. Mormon. I appreciate you calling me back, and Mr. Parsons. I appreciate your email. I just wanted to explain to you again the situation. The kids from my neighborhood, which is a rather large neighborhood, all the way from Sanford to Glen to Dean, actually a little bit beyond Dean, to University, are within the 2-mile range of walking to the high school, and they can't cross over to the high school in a safe way. There's no sidewalk along University, and there's no crosswalk at Old Mill, so they have to walk through people's yards. And my kid got yelled at the other day by someone who told him to get back in the road, but the fact is that there's nowhere for him to go, right? So I just wanted to impress upon you that this is essential infrastructure, and I hope that you take it seriously. I know that you said you're working on it, and you said that you're going to talk to Megan, so I appreciate that. But I just wanted to impress upon you, this isn't just a sidewalk that's needed for walking a dog, right? I'm not asking for my kid to ride a skateboard out there or something like that. This is transportation for children to get to school. And a dirt path is not okay. A gravel path that was, one of y'all told me today, a mulch path. One of these days you're going to have someone in a wheelchair need to get by there. You know, it needs to be paved. It needs to be actual infrastructure. And so I hope that you consider it, you wouldn't, it would be like to consider it like a dirt path or something like that would be like considering University to be a dirt road, right? And you wouldn't consider University to be a dirt road because that's infrastructure. So I would say that children going to school should be infrastructure too. And one of these days, some kid is going to get hurt. I know that one of the residents said that you were actually out there and you helped a kid cross a road or something. No, I don't know. One of the man actually who chased my kid on the road apologized, and I appreciated it. And he said that he thought he saw the mayor out there helping a kid cross the road because they're out there darting across the road every day.
I get accused of a lot of things, but I haven't done that one.
All right. So anyway, there's kids darting across the road. There's kids walking across people's yards. I know that it's an inconvenience for 6 people to have a sidewalk built in front of their yard, their house, but there's a lot more people who have children who need to get to school. 10 years from now, 30 years from now, there's still going to be children needing to get to school across the university. So I'd urge you to think of this as a long-term infrastructure kind of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who'll be next?
Robert Wilkins, 261 Denson Drive, Auburn, Alabama. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Each year, most of us make new resolutions. A business or government hire consultants to bring in new ideas. Communities become more involved. People set personal and financial goals. Even our excellent police department needs improvements. 4 of our council members have kids still at home, and 4 of our council members plus the mayor have grown kids just like I do. We as parents will do what is needed in taking care of our children. I want to make a story. Imagine Councilwoman Whidden, you're in your night clothes, and you get a call in the night from one of your daughters on the phone saying that she was walking to the house about a block and a half away when she was surrounded by policemen. You go out and you see this. What do you do next? Do you go inside, you dress decently, and then drive down 1.5 blocks, or would you watch her until she is safe in your home? Well, Councilman Whidden, this actually happened to Councilwoman Taylor and her son. This mayor, Auburn City, should question why this happened. I attended Ward 1 meeting a week ago yesterday. Maybe someday my Ward 5 will have a council meeting also. Have a ward meeting. I was so impressed with Councilwoman Taylor, organizational skills and her agenda. It was so civil and heartfelt. There were many stories about parents' kids and how they were treated by the police department. All said that there are many good Auburn policemen, but some may need more training, some may need changes in positions, or some may need to find more suitable career. Our city manager refused to help Councilwoman Taylor by turning down an idea that would improve police relationship, but no solution or ideas were proposed in its place. This is not about race issues. This is about having a completely effective police force that treats all citizens equally. No one is above the law. In my opinion, the Auburn Police Department sometimes can be too aggressive. I want to say every time I see an Auburn policeman at this meeting or out in the field, I thank them for what they do. But that does not mean they cannot be improvements. Mayor, please establish a community security task force that could be headed by Councilwoman Taylor, with 12 additional members being made up of presently of the city chief, Councilman Dawson, 1 patrol officer, 2 citizens representing Ward 1, and 1 citizen representing each ward, 2 through 8. All approved by Councilman Taylor. They should meet monthly or as needed. Thank you.
Who'll be next? Who'll be next?
I would like to, be last to allow, all minors to leave.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Everybody that's here is here. Who'll be next?
Then I'll speak.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I was going by your suggestion to ask minors to leave.
Well, they've chosen not to leave. I would ask you to be mindful that there are young people in the room.
Well, it may require changing everything I had to say tonight. I thought I was allowed to ask them to leave.
Well, you're not allowed to do, you're allowed to come and speak to us, Ms.
Okay,
Shamp.
okay, I'll do my best. Not to offend. I don't want to offend children. I did it twice by accident. I'm trying to,
We appreciate your consideration.
Martha Shamp, 307 Camellia Drive, Auburn. There's still some very horrible books at the Auburn Library. I was by there a couple of days ago. You be you, filthy. Pink, blue, and you, filthy. It feels good to be yourself, filthy, obscene, and these are all juvenile section, the children's section. The children. My shadow is purple. Homosexual romances. The same old snakes are in there. Let's consider first truth then error. Revelation chapter 4 says, Holy, holy, holy is God, the sovereign Lord of all, who was and is to come. Thou art worthy, O Lord, our God, to receive glory and honor and power, because thou didst create all things. By thy will they were created and have their being. Genesis 1 says God made man in his own image. Male and female, he created them. The apostles tell us to learn to possess our vessels, that is, our bodies, in honor, and to save sex for marriage. St. Paul in Romans 1 says godless men, stifle the truth in their wickedness, so God gave them up to shameful passions. And I will have to abbreviate that because you won't allow the children to leave. I hope you all know what shameful passions are. But God is pure, righteous, and undefiled. He creates children innocent. But in the juvenile section, these books are so filthy I cannot discuss them with minors present. I think you're rather tying my hands here. The words in them I can't repeat in front of minors, but they're in the children's section. The children's section. Pink, blue, and you. I can't tell you what the children see by page 8. With the tax dollars of Christian believers. And you know this is wrong, to expose young children to this material. May the light of our Lord Jesus Christ shine on you to show you truth. Thank you.
Who'll be next?
Hi, Gabriel Dunham, 210 East Thatch Avenue. Mayor and council members, this is an excerpt of an email PFLAG Auburn Board sent you in January. For almost a year, we have witnessed an anti-LGBTQ+ campaign during public comments in City Council aimed to ostracize and hurt the LGBTQ+ community in Auburn. The false narrative that was pushed all year is that adult content is available for children at the Auburn Public Library. Anyone who has ever visited the Auburn Public Library can tell you this is not true. Yet no amount of reassurance from the library staff on the means in place for parents and guardians to monitor children's exposure to books in the library was ever enough. Because the issue that kept coming up is the existence of LGBTQ+ characters or themes in books, regardless of if those are in children, young adult, or adult sections. This point was demonstrated at the council meeting on December 19th, 2023. When a speaker claiming to want to protect children read aloud lines from an adult book from the adult section of the library that contained sexual content while children were in the audience. Despite the fixation on same-sex adult books, the majority of adult books in the library feature heterosexual relationships. These books are no more appropriate for young audiences than queer books of the same nature. We recognize and appreciate the ability for people to have a platform to air their concerns. However, many LGBTQ+ citizens feel the City Council is not doing much to illustrate the City of Auburn values, such as to embrace the broad diversity of city employees and the Auburn residents they serve, or treat all individuals with respect, courtesy, and genuine concern in wake of this smear campaign. We note that no similar remarks made about any other group in Auburn would have gone so far with so little response. Auburn has always had an LGBTQ+ community and always will. Like other minorities in the U.S., the times have changed and brought greater acceptance and legal protections. Although there is still a way to go for equality, the increasing inclusion and acceptance has already improved the lives of many people and families in Auburn. As part of the Auburn community, we expect the City Council to extend the same protection and support afforded to any other group in our city to the LGBTQ+ community as reflected in the city values. One final note, just a few weeks ago, we were all shocked and heartbroken by the tragic loss of a beloved leader in Lee County, Mayor Bubba F.L. Copeland of Smith Station, after being outed against his will. This is what ostracizing leads to. There is a human cost to letting hate go unstopped. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Who will be next? Okay.
Mayor, if I may.
Sure, I'm gonna close the citizens open forum at this point in time. Anybody on the city council would like to make a comment? Yes, sir,
I'll
Chief.
suggest to Mr. Wilkerson, if he has a problem with Auburn Police, he meet with the chief of police and express your concerns. I appreciate you bringing it to light today. But I want to speak on behalf of our police department. Auburn is one of the fastest growing cities in Alabama, if not the country. One of the fastest there is. Yet, with all this growth, crime is trending down in Auburn. You won't find another place as safe as Auburn. You asked Miss Whitten what she would do if her daughter was surrounded somewhere in her neighborhood. Well, I don't know where that come from, but if my daughter was, I have a daughter myself, have one child. She's grown now, but she still lives out there in front of Daddy. If I woke up one night and police had her surrounded, I'd thank them for taking back, keeping her safe. Our police are there to keep people safe, and they do an excellent job. And I don't know what qualifies you to make the decision. The police department needs this or too aggressive, whatever. I don't know where your qualifications come from, but I can tell you, for someone that's policed for 26 years and followed police work and been to every kind of school and FBI National Academy, everything, you have to be proactive as a police department, not reactive. You can't wait till something happens and go to stop it. You got to be proactive and put a stop to it. And you'll never know what a police officer's presence does to keep crime down. It may never be known to that officer, but I can guarantee if an officer's seen and visible and doing his job, being proactive, the city's going to be better off for it. But if you do have a problem, if you know of an officer that's not quite up to par, not doing what he should be doing, I highly recommend you make an appointment with our chief of police, and he'll be glad to talk with you and speak with you. And I assure you, I'll have all the faith in the world he'll look into it for you, as well as our public safety director sitting over here. I know them both personally, been knowing them for several years, and I know if somebody was doing something inappropriate, they would deal with it appropriately. So I would like to say thank you to our police department for being proactive, and hope they continue to be, and crime continues to go down. There's not a worse feeling in the world to be a victim of a crime. So, and you see around surrounding cities where I saw where in Montgomery where tragically a young male was shot down, and we don't, thank the Lord, in our police department, we don't have that happening here in Auburn right now. It could happen tonight, but so far we're doing pretty good, and that's not by accident. That's by the grace of God and a good police department. So thank you.
I want to comment on that, Chief Dawson. Mr. Wilkins, like he stated, he came to my ward meeting last Monday. I think it was a couple of Mondays ago, or last Monday, whatever. And there was not only just me, but there was other citizens that was there. We had a room of about 30 people, and there were some complaints that was brought to the attention about the police department. So everybody's not saying, and I don't want you to get it, I don't want you to understand what he was saying tonight. And I think he's given his statement based on what he heard at a ward meeting. And we could sit here and talk like Auburn the safest city in the world, and I hope it's one of the safest cities. I really do. But that does not. Let me back up a little bit and slow down. My dad was actually killed here in Auburn, so I also have been on the other side. And I thank God that the police department was there and they addressed the issue at that time, and they addressed it in the proper way. But that does not mean that everybody gets the same treatment. I don't, just to hear people defending, there are good officers. I promise you, I know it, and I've dealt with them. And there's some good officers with nice, good attitudes, and they understand, and they'll come out and they'll address situations. But there are also some officers that need additional training. I'm gonna put it that way. I'm not gonna call them bad officers, because they're just like calling me a bad person. I may need some additional training here on this council. So, but sometimes there's people that need additional training or supervision even as to how they handle certain situations in certain neighborhoods. I would be very honored if a officer was protecting all of his citizens as they should protect all the citizens. But I don't think nobody in here is crazy enough to think that happens all over the world. Okay, so I want to thank Mr. Wilkins for some of his comments tonight, and I appreciate him getting before this council and he addressing it. I have addressed it. I have talked to Megan, and the only thing is, Megan did not deny my services when she talked to me. So I want to make that correction. We did have a talk, and we talk about some of the issues, and there needs to be some type of task force or something that citizens maybe can come, and especially in neighborhoods such as Ward 1, where we see a lot of things that we don't think is appropriate. I get thousands of stories. I'm not the police department, I sit on the council, but of course people are gonna come to me because of some of the things that happen, and I try to have them to address the city council. So I'm not trying to take over problems, but my job as a ward leader is to listen at some of the concerns, and that just happened to be some of the concerns that was brought up in the ward meeting. So, let's not, I don't think that he was really being ugly by saying what he said tonight, but I am glad that he brought it to somebody's attention. And maybe we can do better, all of us, as citizens, as leaders, as protectors, as servers, or whatever it may be in Auburn. Thank you.
Those people that have a problem, have they met with the command staff, the director or the chief of police? This council paid for an unbelievable camera system to go in all our police cars. And if I know how it works. If they get complaints on a certain officer over and over, they're gonna start monitoring that. There's checks and balances in place to prevent that. So I would think if somebody has a problem with the conduct of the police, they would meet with our chief, and he's fully capable of handling any problem. He's well-educated with a lot of experience, and he is gonna do, I have full faith in him, that he'll do a good job. So I would encourage you as a council person for Ward 1 to encourage the people when they feel something's not right. Nobody likes a bad police officer other than worse than another good police officer does. We don't like anybody to bring bad situations about the way they conduct, and maybe there are some that need more training, but however, we're never gonna get there if all we do is get together and complain about them. Meet with the chief of police. He's a good man, he'll do the job, and he'll get it done right. And everything that the officer does should be on video now. So, they can get, and if they find somebody with a problem, the director tell you yourself, we require remedial training. There are times we have to have remedial training for an officer when he may not realize what he's doing right or wrong, and that, but I don't think you can qualify our whole department as not being a good department. And again, I challenge you, and challenge anybody to find a place where we have a better police department than we have right here in Auburn. I know what it's like when crime takes over a city, it eats it up completely. It starts from the inner city out, and it eats the entire thing up. So I don't want to see our city, well protected as we are now, to end up like some of our neighboring cities have. There is not a street in Auburn, Alabama, right now tonight. I'm 58 years old and crippled by Parkinson's, but there's not a street in Auburn, Alabama that I will not walk down at 1 o'clock in the morning and not be afraid of anybody bothering me. The police may stop and check on me. When I could walk, I walked Cox Road a lot. And was stopped more than one time to ask what I was doing, could they help me, whatever. I didn't get mad because they stopped me walking Cox Road. I appreciated it, because if somebody didn't need to be out there, they would be caught doing that. So I don't get mad when I get stopped by the police. I'm happy they do stop me. And if I'm in the wrong, I take my medicine and move on. But I know our command staff very well, worked with them, grew up with them, so to speak, in that field of law enforcement. And if we're not proactive as a department, we'll end up with a broken city. People say, well, we got a good education. We do. But if our public safety department goes down, if our police go down, you can kiss that good education bye, because the criminals are going to come in here and take over. You see on video where officers are beaten down up in New York City. I don't want to see that here in the city of Auburn. I want to support our police, and if somebody messes up, I would be the first to say, yeah, he's messed up. Something's got to be disciplined. And all complaints are taken very serious. People think they don't get heard. When we get a complaint, we take it, they do now, I used to do it, I take it very serious and look into it, and the proof's in the pudding, the video's there. We got the state-of-the-art video. If it ain't there, if we get one that's not on video, we got a problem. But Director Matthews and Chief Police will deal with that. But overall, I'm very proud of our department, and I can't say it enough. You gotta be proactive rather than reactive, because if you get reactive, crime's gonna eat you up.
I don't want to make a long story out of this, but I just want to say to you, Councilman Dawson, I do encourage people to either talk with our city manager or our chief of police or director of police. It's people's choice, and one of the things in the what he suggested as having, how do you build trust in the black community with the police department? And I'm gonna leave it just like that, and I'm not gonna go into any details as to what I'm alluding to, but it is what it is. So I appreciate Auburn Police Department. I never said it was a bad police department. I don't even want anybody to think that. I don't think anybody at my meeting said that it was overall that we got the worstest police department. So I don't want people to even think that. So once again, I just thank you for the comment, and thank you for your comment.
Mayor, if I may.
Please.
I would like to address the individual that came and spoke to us about the email that we received from PFLAG. I did respond to that email to the group, and I do want, hopefully, PFLAG and really the whole community to know that it's my hope that I individually have represented all people and have listened to the voice of all individuals. I may not necessarily agree with all the individuals who come and speak before us during citizens' communications, but I do think it's important that we allow individuals to speak what they feel is important and passionate to them. I do think that those individuals should speak with decorum and respect and understand the audience that they are speaking before at all times. But I do want PFLAG to know that this part of the City Council hears you, understands you, and are glad that you're a part of our community. So thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I
Please.
may. Yep. Wow, Boy Scouts, you all are getting it tonight. And I'm glad you all are here because this community is 75,000 of us, and we're a diverse community. You even have an immigrant Australian sitting on the City Council. So to that end, to the President of PFLAG, Ms. Gabriel, I'd like to read a statement as well, specifically addressing the library issue. The individual before us who has spoken repeatedly about books that she does not like being part of the Auburn Public Library collection. The library staff and the library board have gone to great lengths to address her concerns, and what has started out as complaints about protecting children from inappropriate content many months ago has steadily morphed into, and predictably morphed into, complaining about books containing any LGBTQ plus content, regardless of age appropriateness or where it may be shelved in the building. The individual has been told repeatedly by this body that we have no purview over the decisions and policies of the library, yet she chooses to use the public comments section of City Council to disparage the LGBTQ plus community over and over again. While she has every right to voice her opinion on any matter, it is important to note that her comments run counter to the city administration's core values and vision statement, where it's stated, among other things, that we treat all individuals with respect, courtesy, and genuine concern. We embrace the broad diversity of city employees and the Auburn residents they serve. We value the new perspectives and ideas this diversity brings. We do not favor or discriminate against any business, citizen, or group of citizens for any reason. The library staff are trained professionals reflecting their core values and vision daily, and they do an outstanding job of curating a library collection representative of the interests and requirements of the entire Auburn community. Our library is an Auburn institution to be proud of. Its staff consists of the most welcoming, most professional employees you will encounter. I encourage all residents of the city to visit our library regularly to see for yourself what an outstanding city service looks like. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Sure.
I wish I'd had a prepared statement to make, but I just want to say one or two things. I appreciate the effort to tailor your remarks tonight, Ms. Champ, on the spur of the moment. You did a very fine job, and I'm grateful for that. I know your heart is to protect the children, and it is certainly the ambition of this council member to protect the children. That's all. I don't wish anybody any harm. I don't wish to discriminate against anybody, but it is my goal and my desire to protect the children, and that's the end of that. That's the end game. Thank you.
Anyone else? You know, I think this council has demonstrated that if we were satisfied or placated about the performance of our public safety, we wouldn't be spending over $4 million to build a new public safety training center. And I think it's all of our hopes that we give these men and women who are charged with protecting us a place here in town where they can go and get further training, whatever that kind of training might be. 900 employees, we're not going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes, and there's going to be mistakes that are going to be hard to overcome. There are going to be mistakes that we can correct and move on pretty quickly from. And I would expect as the mayor that anytime, any department, any employee that makes mistakes, that those people who are leading them and directing them are working with them immediately and trying to correct those mistakes as quick as possible. I really believe in our police department. I've always believed in our police department. I've always been grateful for them. I don't think that Chief Anderson would expect me to think that everything they do is perfect every day they go out and protect us. But I do believe in it, and I am grateful for them. I spend time, as many of you know, with different mayors across the state. I'll be with a lot of mayors tomorrow in Montgomery as the legislative session kicks off. We were with the Big Ten mayors a couple of weeks ago in Hoover. I'm very glad for the problems we have in Auburn, because there's a lot of other cities that struggle, and crime is the number one thing that is talked about every time we get together. And we don't have those stories. Again, we're not perfect. I'm not saying we need to be satisfied. We need to keep pushing ahead. But and I'm proud that we're going to give those men and women a facility that they can do that in. And I expect them to train to the best of their abilities and of our leadership and public safety to figure out every way they could use that to its highest capacity to make sure that those folks are ready to go. But I just want to say tonight, I believe in them and I trust them very much. Okay. Anyone else? All right, so move to adjourn.
So moved.
We adjourn.